Hello, and this is going to be my little roundup of Ayacon 2013. Um, yeah, Ayacon was me and my best mate's first ever convention. It's an anime convention, by the way, and it's in the UK, and it's been going since 1998, I believe. I didn't go until the early 2000s, when I was in my early 20s. And yeah, for my first ever convention, I loved it. And yeah, that was my first convention, and I've never looked back. I've gone to pretty much every convention I could get to. And unfortunately, this was the last ever one of Ayacon anyway. So that was rather sad. And hey, finger crossed, you never know, they might bring it back in some years to come. We can only hope. But there are other conventions, so there's no need to get too down about it. Anyway, this is the programme. Yes, lovely Titan on the front there. And I'll just go through some of the panels and stuff I went to, and yeah, I had to go up on the Friday. It's a 3-day event, but it's preferable to go up on the Thursday, so you don't have all the stress and rushing around to get to things on the Friday. But unfortunately, I couldn't get that day off. Anyway, there was some guests. Shonen Knife were there, and they played on the Friday, and I saw them. I've heard of them, but I haven't heard any of their music before. And I saw them walking around before the concert, and they were like just over 5 foot. They were tiny. They were quite short, and then to see them up on stage, rocking out good and hard, it was kind of took me back a bit, and they really did rock. They were really good. The music was a bit too loud for me, unfortunately, and because of all the travelling I'd done, I was pretty knackered. And unfortunately, after the concert, I went back to my room and slept. Unfortunately, yeah, I was staying on campus. It was at a university, Ayacon, and yeah, the accommodation was fine. You know, all I really needed was somewhere soft to put my head and a good shower, and that's all I really needed the room for, and it did the job just fine. Yeah, and some other guests were Matt Mercer. If you're an anime fan, he does voiceovers for anime and computer games, and he's a big nerd, and he did several talks, and I went to some of them. I'll go on about those in a minute. There was a Kamui. I didn't go to any of her stuff. She makes props and cosplays and stuff like that, and she did some talks, and she was very good. And Kimi Soloway, she quite often comes to the UK conventions to talk about Japanese culture and stuff, and she's great. She really is. She knows her stuff, and I've been to several of her talks, and she's a lovely lady. Anyway, let's go to the events. What events did I go to? I missed the AMV showcase. I was really disappointed about that. They usually show that late at night, but they showed it one of the first events panels on the Friday, and I didn't quite get there in time for that. I was quite gutted by that, but hey, what can you do? I also missed Anime Room 101, another Matt Mercer panel, and yeah, I was disappointed about missing that. I missed a lot of panels I wanted to go to be fair, but it happens at conventions. You always meet up with people, and you know, Bring on the Yaoi Army was another panel, which I missed, which I was actually kind of wanting to go to. Um, just for a laugh. The Yaoi panels quite often are a very good laugh. So yeah. Counterculture. No, that's not what I want. Didn't go to that one. Right. The Geek Pride, the Return of Mercer. That's that Matt Mercer panel, and he basically ended up doing a talk for 2 hours about Dungeons and Dragons. I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons since I was like 14, and basically no one knew what the hell they were doing. So everybody cheated. But it was a good laugh, and because of his stories, I actually want to play some D&D. If I had any local friends inclined that way. Unfortunately, I don't. I missed the hentai panel as well. Again, bit of a tragedy, but luckily, another anime convention called Ayacon does excellent hentai panels, very funny. What else did I go and see? I wanted to go and see the Japanese history panel, but it was a very brief panel, and so I don't know how much I would have learned, because obviously I've learned quite a bit about history, Japanese history during my time. But I'm disappointed I've missed that one. But I needed to go and do a cosplay change. I cosplayed 2 costumes a day, and I had some epic failures in the cosplay department. 2 of my outfits I brought, I forgot that I couldn't put on myself. I had friends at the convention, but no friends I would, ask a favour to help me put on my cosplay outfit. I didn't have any friends to hang around with all weekend, but that's fine because I could do whatever I wanted to. Legend of Clamp is another panel I went to, and that was very good. I'm quite a big Clamp fan, and they just generally went through all their different titles and told you about them and stuff. And some of them I've never heard of. I mean, I'm not a fanboy of Clamp. I haven't watched every series and stuff, but yeah, I do like their stuff. So that was an interesting panel. Yeah, and like I was saying, cosplays. There's a couple I couldn't put on. One of my props broke. I only had it out for like an hour, and it snapped in half. I was not impressed, and I couldn't fix it there and then anyway, and I probably won't be able to fix it. I might have to redo it completely. So that was shit. And another bit of cosplay broke. And yeah, just I was feeling a bit rubbish about cosplay this convention, to be honest. I went to the Super Robot panel, and that's basically talking about, well, the history of super robots, different shows you should check out, and obviously went on to cover a bit of Pacific Rim. Obviously, how it's gone on to feature in some Hollywood films at the moment, giant robots, and I'm a big robot fan, and obviously kind of like the heyday of giant robots was in the 70s and 80s, so there was a lot of obviously shows from that era featured in it, but like you said, giant robots have kind of evolved a bit, so they haven't died out, but they're still with us. They're just looking a bit different these days. Super Sentai versus Ayacon, I watched that, and that was some funny clips of some really bad English dubs of some Sentai shows. And I missed the Tales of series panel. I did Asbel Lant cosplay on Saturdays, and that was when the panel was on, but I missed it. The Truth of Living in and Working in Japan, I missed that one, unfortunately. And I also wanted to watch women's lives in Japan and in the West, but I missed that one again. Yeah, I went in, spent too much money in the dealer's room, as always, and I'll show you the loot I got. I met a lot of nice people at this convention, a lot of new people, and unfortunately didn't catch up with some other people I wanted to catch up with, but this always happens. Cosplay chess was epic. It didn't really follow the rules of chess, but it's all forgiven once you have, you see two characters from different fandoms fighting each other on a chessboard. It's pretty cool. It's pretty funny. And it's getting more popular every year, I think. And I went to the opening and closing ceremonies, and they were fun in the Yamaki / Sunday Night Live program. There were some really good acts. That man and team, whatever they're called, was excellent as always. Also finally went to see the first 2 episodes of Attack on Titan, and I loved it. I'm going to be watching the rest of that as soon as possible. And yeah, good things about the con was the people, as always. The parties were epic. Saturday night and Sunday I stayed to the very end, danced from when it started until it ended. Unfortunately, as always, conventions you don't get much sleep. I went to bed at the end of the Sunday party at about 2 o'clock, got woken up by party goers at 3, and then 4:30, and then 5, and then I had to get up at 6, so I wasn't too happy about that. The weather was actually quite good. It didn't really rain, so that's the best you can hope for in an English convention. And I'm sure I've missed out a lot of stuff, cool stuff I did and stuff, but I'm not going to keep you any longer. Ayacon rocks, and I wish it wasn't the last one, but it was. Anyway, quick look at the loot I got. Keon Season 2, Part 2, Dirty Pair Flash, Stains Gate, Blade of the Immortal. This one I've been looking forward to. The Rose of Versailles, a classic series that. Soap, Persona, Part 2, Raxvon, Ungo, 5, The House of 5 Leaves, Naruto, next part of Naruto, Space Battleship Yamamoto, and a Blu-ray version of Cowboy Bebop first part, and One Piece Part 2. I've only just started watching that. I'm really behind. I do tend to get behind on my anime, so I'm usually about 2 or 3 years behind most people that go to conventions and like, I don't know that series yet, I haven't watched it. But yeah, One Piece Series 2, I believe, or Season 2. I'm not loving it so far, but it's supposed to get better, so I'm going to keep persevering with it, and, well, let's hope Kitacon will get here as soon as possible, because I'm already got the post-con blues bad. Oh, one more thing. Complaint about the convention. 2 people got into the Sunday night party who didn't have, who weren't going to the convention, and they were being dicks, especially to women. This poor girl, he was making thrusting movements behind her and just really horrible. And then these 2 guys then trapped her in between each other and started dancing. Yeah, that kind of thing. But to be honest, she seemed to be enjoying it until it got a bit too much and she tried to escape, and they kept trying to drag her back again, but they got away. And they went and did it to other people, and to be honest, the bouncers didn't seem interested at all. I went and told them that were being harassing women and not convention goers, and they're just taking the piss, and they were basically chavs and dicks, and I was pretty pissed off with that, to be honest. But apart from all that and my cosplay fails, it was brilliant and I loved every minute. And yeah, I still wish it was the convention. Oh well, back to reality. Bye bye.